Happy New Year. As we turn the calendar to 2023, we want to thank you, our loyal WagerTalk Sports Memo and Gold Sheet family. Thank you not only for your business, but for your feedback, suggestions, and criticisms, as it has helped us grow to become the #1 sports betting information company and leader of the sports betting videos and content, with WagerTalk TV now having over 110,000 subscribers. To welcome in 2023 and to thank all of you for your support, we want to give you 23% more on any All Sports All Access pass of 30 days and longer. Buy a 30-day All Sports All Access pass and get 7 days free, a $99 value. Buy a 90-day and get 22 free days. Buy a full year and get 84 free days, which basically takes you through March Madness of 2024. No coupon is needed, and the added free days will automatically appear. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and you will find these specials loaded. This special offer is only available until midnight on January 9th, the night of the College Football National Championship. For myself and everyone at the WagerTalk Media family, Happy New Year.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very, a happy, what the hell's today? Thursday, I believe, January the 5th. And we got 4 games in the association. Tonight we're going to break down some of them here, come at it from a couple of different angles, see if we can't find a few plays that we like, and we'll do it with 3 of the finest NBA handicappers over at WagerTalk.com, including the prop god himself, Andy Lang in the house. It is, look at that, it's the Tony brothers with different mothers, though, as the very much older brother, Tony Finn, taking on the much younger brother there, Tony Mejia. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. I feel like we just did this, and most likely because we just did in college hoops, but less games to choose from, which I think is unique with this 4-game slate. Mejia, tell me, you had mentioned earlier you were looking at a couple of games in the association tonight. Locked and loaded with anything?
I am locked and loaded with a 4% play. We're 4-1 on our last 5 4% or higher plays, and now 8-2 on our last 10 totals. And I was 8-1 heading into yesterday. I had a small play on that Raptors-Bucks over. I really liked the over because I thought Giannis would play and the Raptors would speed them up with Drew out and Ingles out, and obviously Chris Middleton still not playing. And that first quarter was, wow, did that set back basketball, especially this season. It was everybody missed everything for like the first 10 minutes of the game. And then I was thinking if we get to double overtime somehow after that ridiculous run that the Raptors made to force the first one, that would have been the flukiest cover of all time. So pretty wild game there as the Raptors lost to the Bucks for the first time in 5 or 6 tries.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. We do have, of course, a huge college basketball slate. Tony Finn, we just talked about that on the Basketball Tip-Off Show. But I know you're looking at something here in the association tonight. Anything up and ready to roll?
Yeah, I have. I took a position on 2 of the 4 games, and I have 2 top player props. One I'll give out on the show today as my best bet.
Ooh, like the way you're approaching that one. And prop god Andy Lang, what is going on, man? You got 4 games here to choose from. I would imagine a prop or 2 might be posted on your page now.
Yeah, 3 NBA props are up for tonight, including a same game parlay, which I'll give out for today. So 5% NFL play, that is up. And I'm not bitter, but I lost a prop last night on the dreaded stat correction.
Oh.
So game is almost over. My guy had hit his prop. He's sitting on the bench, and we'll just take that assist away from you.
Dude.
My first loss on a stat correction this year, but it happens. But looking forward to a great Thursday night. Should be a lot of fun.
Wow. All right. Well, let's turn it around. What is done is done. Let's move forward here. And hey, what's done is done. The contrarian gods are just running people over here over these last couple of weeks, and they did it again last night. Why? Well, there's no way the Bulls can beat the good old Brooklyn Nets last night. Well, wouldn't you know that? But tonight, they might have a different team in mind here to take a look at, and it is. Oh, that's a loser. Houston plus 6.5 for the contrarian. Got your out of their friggin' mind. No, they're really not, though, as the Rockets are welcoming in the Utah Jazz, who've had a bit of a rough stretch here. But hey, 6.5 is this number. Boy, oh boy, I got to tell you, Andy, I know we'll start with you right off the bat. You did kind of give the contrarian gods the middle finger, I think, last time we had you on the show here. But tell me, might this be a play you'd be getting behind with them here tonight?
Heck yeah! What yeah? What are the Jazz doing laying points? Like, come on! I mean, San Antonio, Golden State, Sacramento, Miami, San Antonio losing. This game is more of a coin toss than anything for this one. I'm stunned to see 6.5. So, yeah, me and the contrarian gods, we've made up, and we'll be on the same page tonight with this one. So there is one player prop that I do kind of like in this one. This one kind of has some same game parlay potential to it, but I keep coming back to Jordan Clarkson over 22.5 points. These two teams are bottom 8 in defensive efficiency the last 10 games, and I think this game is close. So we have two teams that are really struggling on defense. They're giving up a lot of points. And then we get Jordan Clarkson, who has actually been pretty consistent with his point totals here. He's just dancing around that 22.5. His last few point totals, 24, 22, 25, 22, 25, 23. So he's just really consistently in that low to middle 20s. And in a game that I think is really close, that's not going to feature a whole lot of defense, I think Clarkson gets up and over this one. I would expect about 25 points or more from him. Him and Markkanen have been doing a lot of damage for the Jazz, but I'm going to lean with Clarkson instead of Markkanen as my prop because the point total is a little bit lower, but look for a lot of points in this game.
All right, looking for some points in this one. Good approach there, Mahia. How about it, man? The contrarian god saying, oh, I don't know. Who is Utah to be laying points here? What do you say?
I say I am neutral on this one.
Oh,
but I do want to
Switzerland! No, he didn't.
I want to point out to the gods. I don't know if the gods are aware of this.
Flag his ass! Oh, hell no!
The last 2 second nights of back-to-back for the Houston Rockets, they lost at the Warriors 120-101. They lost at the Celtics 126-102. So they resoundingly got their asses kicked. And they made a little bit of a run because they got destroyed in New Orleans last night. And they're making a big difference for them is being at home for this one. Utah is still without Colin Sexton. So, I mean, that's why I'm neutral because I don't want to back the Rockets by all means. And me and the contrarian gods we're not on speaking terms often, but I'd have to respectfully nod my cap to them. I just wanted them to be aware that the last 2 times they played on the second night of a back-to-back, they did get destroyed.
Give me the flag. No, absolutely not. Disgusted. Tony Finn, you know exactly how this roll here. Now, you're either going to go with Corpus Christi or you're not. So tell me what you're doing here tonight.
I'm not. I'm not. Here's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I mean, I'm waiting for that flat line too. You know, that flat line sound, and then run it right across the screen too. How do you play Houston? The team's 1-5 over the last 2 weeks with a defensive rating of 160 and change. Right? How do you do? Houston 1-6 over the last 2 weeks with 120 plus defense rating in Utah at altitude. Houston Jazz both pretty pedestrian, if not apathetic defensive units. Houston scores more. I mean, Jazz outscore Houston by 6 points, 7 points, probably double digits here. Markkanen has another big game. I'll talk about that more in the best bet segment. Give me the Jazz minus points.
I was waiting for you just to hammer them there.
Me
All
too.
right, Houston plus 6.5. The contrarian gods have spoken. And we did have, of course, one. Somebody went Switzerland here. We'll be taking care of later. Hey, let's look at a featured matchup here tonight. The one that most people are probably going to be checking out as the Celtics after that unbelievable ass whooping by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who dropped 150 on them. Well, now they get to go take on Dallas. 3 is what we are seeing. And it's been right around 3, 2.5, 3 for the day. The total, 231.5 now, 730 tip here. While they certainly have the record, it's been a rough go here for the Celtics, mostly because those threes aren't falling as much as they did early on in the season. So, Andy, with that in mind, are we backing or fading props here tonight with them? What are we looking at?
Well, I would start by saying I'm not a big believer in Dallas. You look at their recent winning streak, and it's not against very impressive teams. There's a lot of, San Antonio's in there, and
Don't say it.
team. There's one particular team that I won't say, but because I don't like beeps or buzzers. But we'll just say it's just not been impressive. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with. But I'm going to fire away a same game parlay, and this is actually a client play. It's up on WagerTalk.com. This is on DraftKings if you want to find it. I'm going to go with Jason Tatum to have 25 plus points, so 25 or more, and Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. So first off, this same game parlay has hit in 6 straight games that these two have played in together. Jason Tatum has had only under 25 points in only 6 games this season. It's really remarkable when you look at that. Yeah, he just gets it done each and every night. And you look at some of these Celtics, and you mentioned that the 3-point shots are not falling, mostly for the role players. So you're looking at this team, and it's Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, or it's nothing. Fun fact for the Celtics: Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have led the team in scoring in every single game this season. The Celtics do not have any player that has led the team in scoring in any game. Like Marcus Smart hasn't gotten hot to, put up 30 or anything. So this team is more reliant on their top 2 players than any other team in the league. Jaylen Brown has just been on fire, 29, 30, 29, 39, 29, 36. So I don't believe in the defense of Dallas with how thin they are. I think they're kind of putting it together with smoke and mirrors. Credit to Luka and credit to them because, when you're missing players, you got to somehow weather the storm. And they have done a very good job of that. Coming off of 2 losses, I just don't think that this is a good spot for Dallas. I think Boston has a good night. Tatum to go over 25 points and Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. DraftKings, same game parlay.
All right. Love that approach there. How about it, Mejia? Are you going to go Switzerland again? Save us the time here on this one. Give me Boston or give me death here. What are you going to do in this matchup here tonight? It's a good one.
I will take a position, but I cannot tell you who I'm going to take to win this game. That is my 4% play. That is my 4%, so I have to hide that. I apologize. Now, I will say this. The first time that these teams played in Boston in November the 23rd, to be exact, it was a 125-112 Boston win, almost wire to wire. They led led after one by 11, led at the break by 21, and yet Luka Doncic scored 42. Jason Tatum at 37 and 13. So if he replicates that, then Andy's in great shape. And that was the first Boston win against Dallas in 5 tries. So the Mavericks had had swept the season series in 2021-22 and the season prior to that. So this is an interesting matchup. On the Boston side, they do get back Robert Williams. And here's the position I'll take on this. I think because that first game was so high scoring, produced 237 points, this number that opened, I believe, hold on, I have it right in front of me, 226 is now at 232.5 last time I saw it. So it's been significantly bumped up and steamed up. I would take the under on this play. I don't know if I'll get there for clients, but we shall see because I took a position on the side. But I might because with Robert Williams coming back, they actually
Mm.
have some rim protection. There won't be the parade to the layup line that happened in Oklahoma City. I would say that Boston is probably very interested in this game and only in this game because on this road trip, they played at Oklahoma City and obviously looked like they didn't bother to be there. And they play at Houston or San Antonio next. I forget which. Both teams are obsolete and nobody cares about them. So this game is circled on the schedule. And both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to be very disappointed at the All-Star returns, which were just announced a few hours ago. And neither is a starter, despite the fact that the Celtics have been the cream of the crop in the NBA over the last couple of months. So that could be intriguing because that does play into NBA players' psyches. And Doncic obviously is the second leading vote getter among guards behind Stephen Curry. He might have taken exception to that, considering he's the NBA's leading scorer. So very interesting game tonight. In this one, I'll wrap it up with a neat little bow by saying that this is going to be the game of the night. So I expect it to be a tight one.
All right, good stuff there. Talk to us here, Tony Finn. Might this be a side total prop? What are you looking at in this one?
Well, if I'm in this room, and I am in this room, there's a lot of things that are tells for this game, in my opinion. First and foremost is any recency bias would lead you to drop your jaw, much like you spoke to, Joe, and that's giving up 150 points, right? Laying out 150 points, losing by 30 plus as 11-point road chalk against a team without their Mr. Everybody in Alexander, right? I mean, they're 30-point a game guy who's a late scratch, and Boston goes from being an 7.5 or 8-point favorite to an 11-point favorite in the Thunderdome, and absolutely get wiped. I mean, they didn't just get schooled; they got destroyed. However, and that was their second loss in a row. They lost up in Denver before they lost at OKC, but before that, they were 4-0. They looked like they had their mojo back, offensive mojo back. They were home games. That said, they haven't been terrific on the road, but they're still as road. I kind of looked at this earlier last night thinking, well, they're going to go into Dallas, guys, and they're going to be a small road dog after that 150-point shellacking, No, the market's still, and it hasn't budged that much, guys. It's not like some people are jumping on Dallas in the points here. There's nobody buying that. So, that Dallas is healthy. Boston's healthy. Should be a good matchup, but Dallas isn't terrific. Listen, they're going to try to slow this thing to nothing. And I wouldn't argue with Tony's, push in on that, on the under the total. But I like Boston here. It is a perfect spot for them to be able to basically throw some threes down and put basically Luka in a situation where he can't play slow anymore. We're gonna have to be playing catch up. So give me Boston as a road favorite against a public team with Luka Doncic.
All right, there you go. Should be a good one here tonight. Speaking of totals, though, let's see what we've got for an overtime matchup. And again, there's only 4 games on the board here tonight, but an intriguing one is certainly the late night one when the Clippers are taking on the Denver Nuggets, and this thing has gotten steamed up. 224.5. We're seeing 229s now, so it continues to rise. Hell, we ain't going to get a whole lot of defense from Denver, and we know this, Andy Lang. So in a game where we keep getting over money, is there a prop or two you're looking at?
Possibly. I just checked the 4:30 report. I don't think we have official word on Paul George, which makes a big difference because
he's in.
He's in. Then when a prop comes out for when a prop comes out for Paul George on points, I would take that. The perimeter defense is not very good for Denver. That's where they can do a lot of damage on, and I think Paul George will kind of become a little bit more of a facilitator along with some of the guards. Sometimes he plays as a forward. Sometimes he's a little bit more of a shooting guard. Sometimes some possessions he's their point guard. So if he's in, as soon as I have a points prop, I'm going to be taking him. I don't think it's a great matchup for Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi's been playing very good. He seems to be getting more and more healthy. But I think I think they can throw some bodies at Kawhi with some of their big bodies with Porter and Gordon. But I think it sets up for a good Paul George. I don't know what his point total is going to be. That's where I was leaning. Other than that, some of these guys in this game are just not very trustworthy. Obviously, Jokic is a big name, but Aaron Gordon has shown a little bit more consistency, which is good. I don't think it's a great matchup for him tonight. Porter, listen, he's been playing great. If you're looking at Porter, maybe you might sprinkle his over 3-pointers. His 3-point shooting has been a really, really nice, almost kind of a nice surprise, I would say, for the Nuggets. But it's Paul George kind of or nothing for me in this game. So wait and see what the point total is. If it's 23.5 or less, I would take it. If not, this game's kind of a stay away for me.
All right. It's interesting there, Mahia, because it's continued to rise. One would think, though, with that total continuing to get pushed up, maybe a little less defense, maybe a little less Kawhi Leonard, Paul George in this game. But what do you think?
Well, I trust my guy Finn because I know he has sources, but unless he talked to Paul George on the cell before we got on this broadcast, it's still questionable that Paul George plays. Nothing official yet from their beat writers, and he wasn't at shoot around. Now he might play. I'm not touching this game except for my best bet, which is also a client play, which means that the overtime segment is kind of shot for me because if Paul George plays, yeah, I could get in on the over. But if he doesn't, I think that the primary Clippers offense will be to post Kawhi Leonard. And then obviously on the other side, you play through Nikola Jokic. So that might slow things down a little bit. And Denver's won 6 of 7 in this series. Some of these scores have been strange, like last year around this time, January 11th of 2022, 87-85. Clippers only win within that span. We had an overtime game late last year, 130-128. Denver won that. Denver won 127-115. Denver won 114-104 in the only meeting this season. So, that game would go under if that pace is played. But at this point, I think if Paul George plays, I would get in on the over, but nothing official there.
All right. Nothing official yet for him on that one. But Tony Finn, you're pretty sure that's where we're going here tonight. It's interesting because the total being pushed up might lead you to believe that we're probably not going to get some defense there. But what do you think here? Is it an underplay for you either way, or just up and over?
No, it's a listen. The Clippers obviously they hang their hat on their ability to play defense, but when when George, Paul, and Ringo, and everyone's on the floor together, they're pretty good offensively as well, especially in this matchup against a team that surprisingly, and I find it surprising, we haven't even talked about it really, and that's that Denver's the top team in the West right now, which is a surprise because I think they're inept defensively. And outside Jokic, without Jokic on the floor, they're not very good. And they're certainly not going to pad the total or give us extra points for those who are on the over when Jokic is on the floor. Expecting to be on the floor, expect this game to be competitive for the most part, but that's point wise. So I'm still a believer in the Clippers, especially when, like I said, when Paul, when Kawhi, when they're on the floor together, this team's pretty good, not only offensively, pretty good defensively, but at altitude, I don't expect these two to give their life, limb, and liberty to play defense like they might do, at Pacific Sea level in the crypto center. So I like the Clippers. I like the over here. And in fact, I like some props in this too. So those who are listening, take a look at some of the props on the over for guys like Paul George, big Joker boy, and maybe even Gordon on the boards. I think they're going to try to get Gordon in foul trouble. He's the one that's going to be physical and be asked to match up on and off against Kawhi, on and off against Paul, and could be pretty tough for him.
All right. Well, there we go. Outside of Paul George, the injury report looking pretty bare on both sides there. You find
Let me
something?
say something real quick, Joe.
Did he call you? Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I meant to mention to you. Here's the deal: is when the person I talked to and really trust about the Clippers
Is Kawhi Leonard?
is this.
Oh,
that is.
Go ahead.
Well, no, not Kawhi. He wouldn't take my call. I've written him too many times to ask for Quaaludes, and he wouldn't give them to me. So he's hogging them all up. But he said if Paul complained a little bit on Monday following the game about that hamstring, but he scored 2 games back. He scores 45, right? And he traveled. If this team, George and Kawhi, and this is all not verbatim, but pretty close. If these guys are not going to play, dude, they just fly home to LA. They don't go with the team. George went to Denver, and he will be active tonight. So that's the news. That's the information I got. I trust it.
Stuff right there.
I love that. That's what I'm talking about. You're not going to get that anywhere except for Tony Finn's connections. Now let's see when he puts it all together. Are we going best bet time? Let's go, Robert. Let's see what we got. All right, so just 4 games on the card here tonight, but we'll give him 60 seconds here to drop us a little knowledge and some best bets. And Andy, kick us off here for 60 seconds. Tell us where you going here tonight on the card.
Well, we got 3 NBA plays that are up on WagerTalk.com. We've got a 5% NFL play that went up early today, which we just absolutely love. Plus 26 units in all sports over the last 7 days. So we're really starting a nice winning streak. NBA has been good to us over the last 10 to 12 days. So encourage everyone to go grab that. And they're running a great special for you get 23% added on to a 30-day pass or a 90-day pass. So it's really good. You don't need a promo code, and that's available for any handicapper that you see on any Wager Talk show. So take advantage of that. My best bet, I'm going Christian Wood over 18.5 points. I mean, Dallas they're out of options to score. Like Hardaway can, get some shots up, but you're looking at, the last game, Doncic had 39, Christian Wood had 21, and I just really like what I've seen from Christian Wood since he's been put into the lineup. 21, 25, 21, 19, and 30 points. He's getting a lot of shots. He's making his 3-pointers. It's just a lack of options for Dallas. I think he gets over again because they're really going to need him tonight.
All right, there you go. Good luck there. How about it, Mejia? You teased us about it. You went Switzerland, put us through total hell. Give us a best bet now, man. Where are you going tonight?
All right, let's go to that Clippers-Nuggets game. First meeting of the season, the Nuggets won by 10 with Nikola Jokic, by his standards, having a pedestrian 19, 13, and 6. Over the last 9 games, Jokic has had at least 9 assists in 8 contests, and double-digit assists over 7. 7 times. He's now 3rd in the league in assists, and would basically set the record for most dimes by a center if he continues at this pace. He's also scored at least 29 points in 5 of the last 9 games, including 43 times. So I look for him to have a big night tonight, whether Paul George plays or not. And we'll see, because Denver does not defend well, but since losing 3 straight to open December, they have won, I believe, 10 of 12, and come off a loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So big night for Jokic tonight over his 36.5 points and assists.
All right, expecting the points, and more points. So talk to us here, Tony Finn. Tell us which play did you circle on the card tonight?
Jazz late game. Let's call it a degenerate special, bailout blowout player prop, right? Listen, I probably shouldn't have been as aggressive as I was, but I played it myself. I originally wanted to play Laura Markkanen, over points and rebounds. During a stretch, the Jazz hasn't been real good. They've played some tough matchups, but this is a pretty good spot for them against a Houston team that's one of the bottom 3 in defensive efficiency, and especially from the perimeter. These young guys like to get out. They'll muscle up, and they'll play tough at the paint. They still give up points down there too. Markkanen averaging about 30 points plus over the stretch of this tough stretch for the Jazz, and 9+ rebounds. So I wanted to go over that 34. I didn't. I said, you know what? Let's go plus 240 on a Markkanen double. Yes to the double plus 240 with Lauri Markkanen, Marky Mark for the Jazz tonight.
All right. Over. We're expecting some points here. It sounds like in a few of these games, certainly from some of the big names here, like Tony Finn. He's going marketing. He likes the double-double, yes, at plus 240. Mejia thinks Jokic has a big night, too. He's going over 36.5 points and assists, while Andy says, don't sleep on Christian Wood, up and over 18.5 points. He's been on quite the run here with this Dallas Mavericks team. And don't forget, best bets across the sports betting landscape available right now at WagerTalk.com with both Tonys. Tony Mejia, Tony Finn, and Andy Lang. Hop on board, guys. Partner up with these gentlemen here tonight and start the season off right here. Let's cash a few tickets on this Thursday. Much bigger card tomorrow in the association. We'll, of course, be back getting you ready for a big weekend across the sports landscape here. Hope you'll come back and join us. And on behalf of Andy, Tony Finn, and Tony Mejia, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with all the plays here tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow. Good luck. We'll see you then.
Happy New Year. As we turn the calendar to 2023, we want to thank you, our loyal WagerTalk Sports Memo and Gold Sheet family. Thank you not only for your business, but for your feedback, suggestions, and criticisms, as it has helped us grow to become the #1 sports betting information company and leader of the sports betting videos and content, with WagerTalk TV now having over 110,000 subscribers. To welcome in 2023 and to thank all of you for your support, we want to give you 23% more on any All Sports All Access pass of 30 days and longer. Buy a 30-day All Sports All Access pass and get 7 days free, a $99 value. Buy a 90-day and get 22 free days. Buy a full year and get 84 free days, which basically takes you through March Madness of 2024. No coupon is needed, and the added free days will automatically appear. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and you will find these specials loaded. This special offer is only available until midnight on January 9th, the night of the College Football National Championship. For myself and everyone at the WagerTalk Media family, Happy New Year.